Hello, this is Cece Schatz, and you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And we are on the goingsolomedia.com is our website. This is the Going Solo with Cece show, and I'm so sorry. We have a wonderful guest tonight, and we're trying to bring her forward. So we're having a little bit of technical problems. It's funny because we've been having this all day long. I don't know what it is, but we've never had this on this platform before. So we'll just have to kind of hang in there and try to think positive. But you all know that going solo sometimes has its hiccups, right? And so we don't give up. We just keep on, getting through it, right? So that's what we're going to do tonight. So tonight we're going to bond together. We're going to make this happen, and we're going to just do it the best way that we can. And that's what the Going Solo motto is all about. So again, I am Cece Schatz. I'm the doyenne of relationships. And what I try to do is really connect you in probably some of the difficult time of your life to some of these awesome, great guests and hosts that we have on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to bring her forward. We'll see if our guest tonight, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, going a little bit crazy here because things are going a little bit nutso. But to tell you about our guest tonight, because I think she's a very unique person, and I wanted to be able to bring her forward because she does something that I think is so valuable when we're moving through trying to redefine our lives, right? We find ourselves in this muckety muck of getting through, trying to figure out what we're going to do with our life as we're now single. And guess what? We have to kind of redesign ourselves. And so one of the places that we have to redesign is our home, our living space. And so Rita Wilkins does this very well. She is the downsizing designer. And what she does is she helps those that are ready to start downsizing in their lives and rebuilding their lives and really kind of reevaluating and moving through their lives. So she's a very unique individual, and I'm just really pleased to have her on board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring her up. I'm not sure if we have audio. We're going to try it. Let's see here. Maybe by the magic, we'll say the magic of TV. Hey, Rita, can you hear me? You can hear me, but we can't hear you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call you, and we'll do it that way over the phone. We'll record it over the phone. So if y'all just be with me in just a few minutes, we'll try to hang in there. But I'm not sure why we're having these difficulties. But we're going to call her on my landline so we can connect. We can't do it one way. We'll do it another way. That's the way it works. So we're calling her right now. And I'm going to turn the volume up on my phone, which is up. Oh. Hi, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, now we can't see you. Isn't that funny? Okay, well, we can go on with the show anyhow. So I'm just going to bring your the phone here closer to the mic. We've done this before. We've had to just improvise as time goes on. Things happen, right?
They do. So we just get more creative.
Absolutely. So I'm going to put your information up here. Rita Wilkins, the downsizing designer. I have your website up here and your email and your phone number. So if anyone wants to call them, we'll repeat them over. So Rita, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into doing what you do? Downsizing designer. What exactly does that entail?
Okay, so that moniker came about several years ago. I have had an interior architecture firm for over 35 years, and we've done projects all over the United States. And about 8 years ago, my son, who was living in Senegal, West Africa, and he was serving in the Peace Corps at the time, invited me to come and stay with him for a month. So I stayed in his tiny little hut, and I experienced something I had never experienced before. And that was people who have nothing or so little, and yet they were happy. And so that impacted me in such a strong way, and I had no idea what hit me. when I got home to my very large home, I had a 5,000 square foot home in the country. I looked around as I walked through, and nothing looked the same to me. So it took a couple of months for me to discern that I really wanted less in my life. I had so many beautiful things and a lot of, things I collected over a number of years. And yet what I really wanted was that simple, joy-filled life like I had experienced in Senegal. So I downsized from 5,000 square feet to 867 square feet in a beautiful little jewel box apartment in Philadelphia. And I gave away 95% of my stuff to people who needed it or wanted it. And that was how the moniker of Downsizing Designer came about. And people started coming to me and saying, well, how did you downsize? And mind you, that for years they paid me to upsize, and now they're paying me to downsize, get rid of all of their stuff.
I totally get that. When I first got divorced, we were in a larger home, and I moved into a larger home, and then I couldn't afford it, honestly. And so then I decided, why am I killing myself making these payments when, I'm not, it's just me, my father, I moved out with my son, and I thought my son was going to live with me and my father was going to live with me. And so I got this big house. And then when I realized that my son wasn't going to, he was going to go to private school. So he's going to go back with my ex. And then my father decided he was going to move in with my sister. Then I was by myself. I thought, what do I need all this space for? Why am I paying for all this? And so I did the same thing. I started to downsize. And with each move, and I've moved several times, and with each move, I've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller. And what I've realized, like you said, is that I don't really need all this stuff. And when I look at the stuff I think is important, and I mention it to my kids, they don't even want it. And it's like, what? This is real crystal. This is the real stuff. I brought it all the way, from Spain. It's real. And they don't want it. They don't want that stuff. So it's,
no, they don't.
Yeah.
Actually, what we learned through that whole process is that when you have less, when you live with less, you actually appreciate what you have more. In my old house, I had 57 places to sit, and now I have probably 7 or 8, and I've never been happier. So I guess the message that I've been delivering all over the country for the last couple of years now is when you live with less, you actually live more. And I did write a book called Downsize Your Life, Upgrade Your Lifestyle, Secrets to More Time, Money, and Freedom. So when you downsize your life, and that's not just the physical clutter that you downsize, it's also the emotional and the mental clutter. Mm-hmm. And so when one is, in transition and, after divorce, and I've been divorced myself, so there is a period of transition for sure, and adjusting to what could that new life look like. And part of my book is actually about when you get rid of some of that mental and emotional clutter, then you can move forward with your life. So it's not just the physical part, it's also the mental part.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I know that, and I still have it. Like I have all these big pieces of furniture, right? And so even just this last week, I was looking at things thinking, I really could get rid of some of these big pieces and get some smaller pieces that, would make my space a little bit bigger. But it is true that sometimes we hang on to things simply because it gives us comfort. But then in the end, when we're making this transition into this new life that we're trying to develop for ourselves, sometimes those things that we hang on to, it gives us pain, because it brings back memories that,
So letting go is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in divorce or in any relationship that's breaking up, we've invested ourselves emotionally. We've probably invested financially. And there's a certain comfort level. So letting go is not easy. But when you learn to let go, then you can move on. The end game is that you have freedom to pursue things that really matter to you. So when I'm working with clients, and I do some one-on-one coaching, it's so important that, in order for you to let go and to move forward, to know what you want. So whether it's you want to move to a smaller home, you want to move to an apartment, kind of lifestyle do you want? And what kind of lifestyle do you want? Meaning, you want to live in a city, you want to live close to your grandchildren, whatever it is that you want. So when you have clarity about that, and then it gives you the opportunity to design a new life. And, when we're leaving an old life that, brought some angst and unhappiness, looking forward to a new life that you can actually design pulls you forward, in the actual design, the downsizing process. Because when you have clarity about that vision and that dream of your life after, it helps you get through some of the tough times.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I can see that. Also, I feel too, and I've said it before to my divorce support group, is that when it's very painful when someone moves out and then you're left with everything behind, right? You've got all of the things that are left there and all of the memories and all of that, and you feel like you're just rattling around in this space. But so you have to start claiming your space and making that space your own. Is there any suggestions you can give to the listeners out there for that?
Sure. So, if you are the one that is left with the big house, and it sounds like in your case it was, to start downsizing by decluttering, I call it. Mm-hmm. So in other words, things that you don't want. So I call it my C item. So if you think of ABC, C would be those things that you really don't want anymore. So once you can start getting rid of those and get them out of the house, and everyone has some of those. It could be just a piece of furniture. It could be leftover whatever. If once you start getting rid of some of the stuff, you start lightening the load, so to speak. And I have a methodology. It's actually a design technique I call the ABCs of downsizing. And you can go to my website and you can get that video. So it literally makes downsizing as simple as A, B, C. So the C items are the ones you want to get rid of. The A items are the ones that you love and you want to keep. And then it's the B items that usually give people trouble. And those might take a little bit longer. But if you were to go through and get rid of the things you don't want, and then look at those pieces that you absolutely love that you're keeping, and then work on the B items over a period of time. Mm-hmm. And the B items would be, maybe some guest room furniture that really doesn't matter too much anymore, or, things that you've been holding on to that were your kids, and your kids are now grown. Those are the kind of things that we can start to let go of. And the reality becomes, when you do choose to move to a smaller space, everything will not fit. Mm-hmm. So that's when, if you are very clear about what your A items are, the things that you most love, then it's going to be easier for you to move at a later date.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I know I've been doing that myself, going through some of the things that, was from the kids, and then giving it to them and saying, here, you can have it, because I'm thinking to myself, okay, when I pass, what they're going to do is sort through that stuff and probably get rid of a lot of it, or they'll be doing it in haste, right? So they'll be like hurrying because they need to do something within a certain time frame. And so what I started thinking was, well, now is the time to go through it. And I went through and looked at some of the things that I thought were kind of treasures, and then I gave them over and said, okay, you can keep them if you want, or you can get rid of them. It's up to you, so yeah.
Having a timeline around some of those things, because I know my basement became a first apartment, a second apartment, and a third apartment for my kids. As they moved, they would dump their stuff into my basement. So finally, if you just say, I'm going to be moving, it's time for these things to go. Another thing to think about, I don't know if you've heard of the book Swedish Death Cleaning.
No.
But it's a horrible name, but the gist of it is that, today we baby boomers could make a request of our children to come to our homes, walk through with us, and tell us straight. They want this or they don't want that. I have two sons, and when I did that with them, I walked through the entire house and they took maybe 6 or 7 pieces. They said, Mom, we don't want the stuff. We love you dearly, but, we don't want all of that stuff. And they live in smaller spaces anyway. So the methodology behind this is that by them saying, I don't want that, it gives you freedom to let go of it without feeling guilty. And that's really an important step, and it's something that we can do now to alleviate that pain that when we're gone, they have to then make decisions.
Yeah, that's so true. Another thing too is I'm finding is that, you want to keep a piece of furniture or whatever, and if you think about the functionality of that piece, you can replace it with something else. So you have to start thinking about what does that really mean to you, And if it holds, let's say, for instance, I was thinking about this today and I thought, well, if it holds some sort of memory, right? If you take a picture of it, and you keep it in your camera, it can digitally, how we store everything on our computers now or whatever, you could take a picture of it, and wouldn't that still give you the same memory? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, we are human beings, and we make stuff mean something. So, for me, and I did a TED Talk, and it was included in my TED Talk. When I was cleaning out my house, I went to a box I hadn't seen in 10 years, and I found my father's alarm clock. And it was just one of those old Timex alarm clocks that probably cost $1.99. But I could hear him winding that clock to get up to provide for our family. And it made me cry. So my sister was there that weekend, and we both cried for a minute. And then we said, our dad wouldn't want us to keep the clock, but we took a picture of it. I created a Shutterfly album, and I also wrote a story about why that clock made me cry. And so, then I have an album that my children can see, my grandchildren can see. They'll know what made Mom cry about a clock. So you can do that with all of those things that mean something to you, and it is the meaning behind it. It's not the piece itself. But for me, it certainly wasn't the clock. It was just my dad winding it that made me think about him.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, so I think it's very, very important that, especially as we're moving forward, and a lot of people are doing that, and they're looking at their spaces and they're trying to figure out what to keep, what to hang on to, what what to let go of. It really look at the pieces individually and separate it out in your mind. Why are you hanging on to this? Is it due to function, or is it due to that particular memory? And if it is because of the memory, how can you capture that memory too, capture that feeling, without keeping that big bulky item that nobody wants, right? So,
yeah. And then, one thing to think about there, and that you just brought up a really good point, because, in sharing a story about this item, whatever it is, and let's just say that it's a big cabinet or something like that you inherited and your mother inherited, and you really don't like it, but it's big and it's there and it's got memories. So by knowing the story behind that, that your grandmother bought that when XYZ, the stories help. And so if you were to go through your home and tell stories to your children or your child about the pieces and why they meant something to you, it usually has to do with a period of your life that you were happier, or good memories about that period of time. So by telling the story, you've passed that memory down, and those are the things that they'll remember.
Yeah, that is so true. It brings to mind, I have these baskets that I brought back from Africa, and they're handmade baskets. I brought back a whole bunch of them for all my friends, and I had so many of them. But what happened is and I'll share with you a story, when I went to go get these baskets, it was by Victoria Falls, I crossed over whatever the country was or whatever, but I didn't have the visa to come back. And so I had to sit and wait. And luckily, one of the travelers that were with us, who was staying at the same hotel, he went back, got some money, and so we had to pay for me to re-enter again. So I sat there, and as I'm sitting there on the road and everything, on the walkway there, there's these baboons came up, right? And they're all surrounding me and everything. And I'm like getting a little bit freaked out and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, and no harm came to me whatsoever. It was really very interesting, but it was really neat. But then every time I look at those baskets, I think to myself, it's, I went to go get those baskets and bring all those baskets back, which I had to pay a hefty fee for because I had to transport them on the airline, and it cost me extra money and everything. So those baskets have a meaning to me, but I know they have no meaning to anyone else. And you can buy those baskets, those same type of baskets at, at the store now. They're selling them at, at one of the stores. I went in there and I saw it. I thought, boy, it's a lot cheaper just buying it here than buying it and bringing it back. Yeah. So you are right on. I think that maybe I should record that. And now that I have a recorder here, but I should record that for my kids, my grandkids, and share some of the pictures.
It'll make them smile.
Yeah, definitely. But it has a significant feeling of memory for me. But if you walked in my house today and saw them, there would be nothing to you. So you wonder, why keep all this stuff? So, yeah.
So this has not so much to do with downsizing, but it has to do with the mindset of living with less. And I used to buy, I would spend weekends buying, clothing or shoes or whatever it was. And that was a period of my life where I was filling a gap. And now if I were to be buying baskets, I would say I would probably buy one. I wouldn't buy 12.
Yeah.
In years past, I would buy, up to 10 or 12 pairs of shoes sometimes, which was crazy. Mm-hmm. But now, I haven't been in the store in 2 years. And so that tells you a little bit about my shopping habits now. But, when you have one of something, you actually value it a little bit more sometimes. Not always, but, that would just be something to think about too, as you move on into a whole new life and lifestyle. Just rethinking even things like Christmas, So this is the time of the year where everybody goes crazy trying to buy, stuff for everybody, and rather than enjoying the holiday, they're buying and buying and buying. So sometimes it's a time for us to think differently and reinvent the kind of life we really want. And if we want to have a life full of stuff, then we want to have a life full of stuff. But in my case, I was choosing differently. I was choosing to live with less. And honestly, it's just been a very abundant life with much less.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk a little bit about the way things look, because so often we think that we have to have all of this stuff because we just want to get this look we're trying to create. But can you not create a beautiful look with a smaller area?
Oh my goodness, yes. I wish I beautiful. And I have 5% of what I once owned. But again, I took my A-list items, the things I absolutely love, and I surrounded myself with stuff that I love. And then, the key is to not accumulate more, because there is a tendency then to, okay, well, I guess I should go buy this or I should buy that. And it's simply not true. So the having enough for me is really a big growth curve, that I don't need to go buy stuff to be happy. I'm just happy as everything is right now.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and I think that is so true. We're going to have to take a quick break, so if you'll hang with me just a few minutes here, Rita, and we'll take a quick break. Everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You're listening to the Going Solo with Cece show. I am Cece Schatz. I'm the doyenne of relationships, and we'll be right back. I want to thank you all for joining us here on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. I am Cece Schatz, and you're listening to Going Solo with Cece. Tonight, we are talking about kind of downsizing, redefining your life and the space that you live in. And we have a wonderful guest, Rita Wilkins, that's with us. And she is the Downsizer designer. And unfortunately, we were not able to bring her forward on the video, but we do have her audio. And she's here with us. Welcome back, Rita.
Thank you. Looking forward to more conversation.
Yes, it's wonderful. Well, the first part of the show, we talked a little bit about downsizing. We talked about the space that we're in, maybe redefining what our items mean to us and, the importance of them, some tips that you gave us on being able to downsize. And then we were moving into the beauty of the area that we live in. And again, I've often mentioned to those that are traveling through a relationship loss, that are trying to rebuild themselves, really claiming their space as their own. And you had mentioned, Rita, that your space now was like a jewel box, which was, I thought, very, very nice. So it's something that you truly want and that you desire. And having that space that you claim for yourself probably gives you much comfort, doesn't it?
It is. And, having been a designer for 35 years, we've created beautiful spaces all over the world, but it's really how people live, work, and play within their space that gives them the quality of life. So, when you're designing a smaller space and you're now designing for yourself, it's an opportunity for you to discern, what really matters to me. So if you want, a big TV, or if you want no TV, if you entertain a lot or you don't entertain, to really start thinking about, what is the lifestyle you want? Because it's actually a wonderful opportunity for you to, completely design the life that you love. And so in living in a smaller space, and because it's yours, you can create your own sanctuary.
Yeah,
and having that opportunity is so there's certainly a downside to divorce, but the upside is that you then can create a whole new life that you want. Mm-hmm. And you have control over that.
Yeah, that is so true. And the thing is, we're trying to figure out how to give us comfort, how to do that. And so that's very, very important to us to be able to do that. So,
yep.
I think in order to claim our space, in order to be able to have that to where we like it, is really just really, really important. It's just an important factor of it. So when we're starting to do that, do you have some tips to kind of figure that out for us? I know that we sorted out with the ABC on trying to determine what we wanted to keep and what we didn't want to keep,
sure.
and how to go through that. But if we're starting to redesign a space for ourselves, is there some particular tips that you could give us on that?
Sure. So, so much of it has to do with space planning. So if you are one who loves to entertain, a space plan could mean an open kitchen plan, so that people can be sitting at a kitchen counter while you're cooking and you can still see other people. If you're a private person, you may want to have, a separate space that is uniquely yours, a library, where if you leave your book stacked, you can. The whole goal there is for you to, and if I were working with a client, what my boys would say, my mother will ask you 1,000 questions. The purpose of the 1,000 questions is that, you can actually get in your shoes and walk around in them. What kind of life do you want? So if you love reading, to have comfortable places where wherever you are, you have proper seating, proper lighting. If you are someone who loves a very organized space, that you have plenty of storage area to put your things away, so that there's that cleaner, more pristine look. But it's not just about space. It's also about every sense. So, obviously sight. So if you love color, to give yourself the freedom to use color boldly. We recently did a room with a black wall, and it was a bedroom, and it was an absolutely exquisite bedroom with a very bold wall, but it also made it feel very intimate. So it's color, it's smell. So if you like candles or not, if you like to bake, those are the kind of things that you want to surround yourself with all of the senses. And for me, music is very, very important. So probably whenever I'm in the apartment, there's always music on of some kind. And I like it to be quiet background music, like classical music or something like that. But it's my company. It's what gives me comfort. Some people will turn on a TV, as their comfort. So if you just consider all of your senses, all of that will get you to a place of what you would consider comfort. And I think one thing people do miss in the design process is lighting. So wherever you're sitting, wherever you're entertaining, every room needs a minimum of 3 types of light. And, there's the overall ambient light, then there's the more decorative light, and then there's task lighting. And then, of course, some pretty accent lighting. So don't forget lighting as a design element that it's that finishing touch that too many people say, what's wrong with this room? It doesn't come together. And very often it's the lighting.
Right.
So, and those might be pieces that you have already. So it doesn't mean you have to go out and purchase new things, but put the room together and then live in it for a little while. See what's missing. How are you feeling about that room when you're in it? And if it feels great, fine. But if it doesn't, just try to discern what's missing. And it could well be one of the senses or the space plan.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I've often said that lighting is like jewelry, in a room. And so it's very important to make your lighting, look the way you want it to look and react the way you want it to react, because lighting is very, very important. There's also, things that you can do to repurpose, right? And you had mentioned that about taking an item and maybe doing something different with it that can jazz up your room or whatever and make it a little bit different. I have a really good friend, Kathy, and she's always remodeling and then posting it on Facebook, and her rooms look so great, and it really gives you inspiration to do stuff because, I see what she does and I think like, wow, that's really cool. So, yeah.
And it's also, in addition to repurposing, it's placing things in different areas or just creating change. So we've done houses before where we create flip covers, so you have a seasonal change, and that's kind of fun. I like to build in a couple of different furniture floor plans for every room so that, there's a winter look and a summer look, where you look out or you look in. And then there's such a thing as just moving furniture from one room to the other, and it looks so different. So, again, a summer look, a winter look. I mean, I happen to read a lot, so I always like to be near natural light if it's daytime. And so I position chairs close to the window so I can be looking out. So those are the kind of things that, it is a form of repurposing, but it's also just reordering things and moving things around. Just because they're in one room right now doesn't mean that it has to be in that same place for the rest of its life.
Right. And you don't necessarily have to use the furniture for what it was designed for. You could use it for something else. I mean, now that we're having a lot of the, if you're in a small space, I've seen a couple of my friends do this, and they have the TV on the wall, and then they actually have like almost, it looks like a dresser type of furniture underneath it, and they use that, storage space so very well. So yeah, so you don't necessarily have to use a piece of furniture for what it was designed for. You can create your own design with it.
You create a purpose.
Yeah.
And you also were kind of mentioning multifunctional furniture as well. So, when you live in a small space, it's important that things can have many purposes. So, one table that I have, which is officially my dining room table. It's actually folded up right now, and it's a console table, but it also serves as a desk. So, when you are moving to a smaller space, before you move, just think that through. So, for instance, a sofa really could be a sofa bed.
Mm-hmm.
A cocktail table could really elevate to become also a dining table or a desk, a work area. So it's kind of fun to think things differently, think of things
Mm-hmm.
differently when you're living in smaller spaces.
Right, absolutely. Well, this was a lot of fun. Is there any closing words that you'd like to leave? I'd like to share real quickly, though, here your information again.
Okay.
Again, this is Rita Wilkins. She's the downsizing designer. Her website is ritawilkins.com. That's RITAWILKINS.com. And to reach her, you can reach her at Rita Wilkins at ritawilkins.com. And her phone number is 302-354-0972. Again, her phone number is 302-359-0972. So, did I say it wrong?
Actually, I'm going to just correct that if I can. It's 302.
Yeah.
354.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is. I have it down right. It's 302. I guess I get crazy here. 302-354-0972. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah. We want to make sure we have it right. No, it's really important. And so now tell us about design itself. If we decide that we'd like to have a little bit of help with downsizing, or we would like to have some help with trying to figure out our space, do you help people do that online, or do you have to be there in person?
Yes, actually. We work all the way across the country. We just downsized a couple that moved from Florida back into the Philadelphia area to be closer to their grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
So the process is that we would work together via Skype or whatever, and we would give you a list of all the things that we would need from you. Of course, we can travel there as well if need be, but it's very possible to do a lot of this, without going there. But there's a process. We need to have an inventory. We tell you how to take that inventory, the photos and so forth, and then, in the case where they were moving here, we measured the space that they were moving into, so we knew what fit and what didn't fit. So we kind of created their own ABC list of what they would need to get rid of. And then here we actually renovated some space for them. So we do a full renovation, we do just decorating, we do design, and we can do space planning anywhere in the world.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. So anyone out there, if you are thinking about downsizing or just remodeling or doing something different with your space and you need a little bit of help or you need a lot of help, I guess Rita is right there for you, right?
I'd love to talk to them. Sure.
Yes, absolutely. That would be awesome to do that. So if you guys need any further information, of course, you can contact us or contact Rita. Again, her information is Rita Wilkins, the downsizing designer. Her website is ritawilkins.com. Her email is ritawilkins@ritawilkins.com. Her phone number, if I can get this right, is 302-354-0972. So any closing words that you'd like to add, Rita?
I would probably like to invite your audience to go to my website and download what I call the Quick Start Guide to Designing the Life That You Love. It's a 10-step guide to literally designing. It's a design process for designing the life you love. And then if they're interested, my book, Downsize Your Life, Upgrade Your Lifestyle, The Secrets to More Time, Money, and Freedom, is available on Amazon. It is a #1 bestseller. And it will kind of walk you through a lot of the process of downsizing your life, but then upgrading your lifestyle, meaning, ways to have that life that you've always wanted. And there's 31 different tips in there of how to do that every single day.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so definitely, again, her website is ritawilkins.com. That's WILKINS.com. So any other information that you need, it's right there on our website. Definitely. I actually watched the ABC video. I thought that was pretty cool. And, you know, and I just wonder, you know, sometimes even wherever we're at in our lives, we can learn something, you know, so it's definitely some good information there to be able to take with you. And so as you're moving forward in your lives, whether you're, you know, maybe you're not getting a divorce or you're not doing something like that, but maybe comes a time in your life when you decide, you know, I want to do something different. I want to spruce up my house. I want to have a different look or whatever. It's just nice to look at different websites, you know, like Rita's, and get some tips and information, and maybe reach out and have a conversation with Rita would be awesome. So thank you. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much, Rita, for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Cece. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope that we've benefited your audience.
Yes, I'm sure you have, and you're a delight. And I want to thank you so much for hanging in with us on the not having the you know, video part of it. It's doggone it, but yeah. But I think the audio will be great, and you know, we'll just have to have you come back again so they can see your pretty face and know that there is a person there behind that phone, right?
There is.
That'd be wonderful. Well, listen, guys, the show went very, very quickly. I just want to thank you so much for hanging with us like you do each and every time. You know that we have difficulties sometimes and we just have to get through them, and together we do that. So I want to thank you for that. Again, you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are the #1 internet singles talk network, and we want to thank you for being with us, being so loyal and listening to our shows. And you are listening to Going Solo with Cece. I'm Cece Schatz, and I am the doyenne of relationships, and I'm so happy to be with you each and every week. So if you guys need any further information, of course, our website is goingsolomedia.com, and you can reach me on goingsoloNetwork@gmail.com. Just send me a you know, an email if you'd like to tell me a little bit more about what you'd like to listen to, what you like, what you don't like. We would love to be able to bring the shows to you that will really help you and change your life. That's what it's all about. So again, this is Cece. I'm signing off, and I want to thank you so much. I'll see you back here next week. Bye for now.